Hello everyone, my name is Christopher. In this video I will rate every single Overwatch 2 character based on how easy or difficult it is going to be to counter the rework version of the Roadhog in Overwatch 2 mid-season 7. We start off with Bastion, and I think Bastion is a very difficult character to play against. I understand that he got nerfed and his downtime on the turret is quite longer than it was before, but again, if you are in an off position, right in the open, and you catch an anti-nade to the face, plus Bastion is following up with the form, this is what you typically have to do against Roadhog. There is no way that you will survive, or you end up being completely wounded and have to ask for health. I would say that Cassidy is an absolute food for Roadhog. I don't think you can apply any pressure to Roadhog, especially when it comes to current state of McCree. This character is a complete garbage, and we are waiting for the rework, I guess. Perhaps they will bring back the old stun grenade to make him useful again. Outside of that, you need to get close to be valuable and useful on Cassidy, and when you get close, you die. D.Va is going to be an absolute counter to Roadhog, but only on maps with verticality. She has the opportunity to duel you easily. There is no way you can hook her. There is no way that you can peel for the backline, and if she's diving your supports, how are you supposed to protect them? There is no mechanism to save them, and D.Va just has more movement and ability to access high grounds. I think Genji is not a problem for Roadhog. I don't think Genji is a problem to any tank in the game, as your job is to dive the backline. So I would have said that it's equal, but if you catch Genji lacking with a hook or he triggers a new trap, I think he's in a big trouble, and there is nothing you can do to save yourself. You either have to deflect and dash away, and there is just so much downtime that you will be completely useless, because you want to use dash aggressively, you want to use deflect on engage, not on retreat. Hanzo is... I feel like he's equal when it comes to Roadhog, because I understand that if you are not respecting the distance, Roadhog can easily destroy you with his combination as you lack mobility. Outside of that, I think that if Hanzo is playing correct Overwatch and he's trying to fight off angles, he's trying to go for longer sights, I don't think there is anything you can do on a Roadhog to save yourself. When it comes to Junkrat, I think Junkrat is absolutely not a problem for Roadhog. Again, you just never apply any pressure, and if you get caught, your movement ability is never going to be enough to escape in time. Maybe you'll be saved by supports, but outside of that, this is, yeah, a disaster. I think if we're talking about solo Lucio, I don't think you will ever be able to catch him. Only if he makes a serious mistake. He's always riding a wall, very unpredictable. You never know when he's gonna switch between healing and speed for his unpredictable movement. And usually, if they're playing Lucio composition, they are playing... I was trying to say Roadhog now. When you're playing Lucio composition, they're usually playing Reinhardt, they are usually playing Junker Queen, and both of these characters with a combination of Lucio can be a problem to your team, because again, you can't peel for the backline. Mei is going to be an absolute Roadhog counter, there is no doubt about it. It's almost impossible to one-shot Mei if she is not low HP or if she doesn't have the cryo form. She's completely immortal, and every single time you would wanna pass through a certain choke, whether it's gonna be first point on King's Row, closed map, ship map on Busan, right? The gates, you're just gonna get walled off and completely devoured. You wall the Roadhog off, you throw an anti-nade onto him, because if you are playing against Roadhog and you don't have Ana, it's a complete throw, but we'll speak about it later. And then you're completely fine. Mei is completely countering Roadhog. I think when it comes to Mercy, you don't care. You don't care. You never see her in the game. You never have the chance to hook her. And a good Mercy is either gonna die last or never gonna die. And you will never going to be a part of killing Mercy. Just because the range difference. I think Pharah is pretty difficult to play against, especially if you are the only person that can shoot her. I understand that Roadhog is terrible at doing that, but imagine you are playing Genji Tracer. You're playing Genji Tracer Hog, and then you have Ana and Moira. Yeah, that Pharah Mercy is gonna completely destroy your team composition. Outside of that, I think Pharah Mercy is really difficult to play when it comes to every single tank, because, except maybe D.Va, because you just don't possess a threat. You are not a direct counter, and if you have 4 dumb dummies that are not taking counters, it can be a serious problem. I think Reaper is hard to play against. When it comes to lower ranks, I think Reaper is a hard counter to Roadhog. Outside of that, you know, with a rework, I think he's going into this category, because I think it's like quite difficult to kill Reaper, and if you are getting close, he's just gonna lifesteal so much. You have a huge hitbox that will never allow you to stay alive for long. If he hits all 6 shots, you might die from cringe or waste your healing, and the downtime on it is gonna be so long that you will just die on the second wave of damage. Reinhardt is equal. I don't think, I mean, you can break his shield and then something like this. I would say that honestly, it's pretty hard to play against Reinhardt, simply because you just don't have the opportunity to press W and try to land your hook on a squishy target, because Reinhardt is always there with a shield, and there is nothing you can do about it. Roadhog versus Roadhog is an equal matchup. It's all gonna depend on your team, how well they can follow up on the hook trap combination, because outside of that, I don't think it's possible to kill a Roadhog when you are playing a Roadhog. Soldier is a very difficult character to play against. He will always keep the distance with you. He will always be on the flank. He's very good character when it comes to self-sustain. He's really good character when it comes to like completely shattering your HP before you even know. And if you are playing against a really good soldier, every single time you peek, you're just gonna be 70% HP before you go back to the cover. That's like, every time I see Hog on soldier, I just shoot, I get my tactical visor way faster than if I were to play against Reinhardt, for example. And yeah, overall, very difficult to play against. Symmetra is, I think she's food. The problem with Symmetra is that she is really a hard commit character type, and she wants to stay close, because poking Roadhog is never an option. Like, what are you supposed to do against that? You poke Roadhog, and then what? He's gonna heal, he's gonna get healed by his team, and if you would want to go for the beam, there is always a chance that he's just gonna completely devour you. You don't have any escape mechanisms outside of your teleporter, but it's also really squishy and easily destroyable. Torbjorn is, I don't think is a problem. I don't think Torbjorn in the current mid-season 7 is a big threat to any of the tank. He was a complete machine gun in the season 6 with his buffs, and hands down one of the best DPS to solo carry ranked games. Outside of that, I don't think there is anything he can do against you, to be fair. Like, no. When it comes to Tracer, this is gonna be an equal matchup. Of course, you can easily one-shot her if she is not accurate or the Tracer player is not playing properly, right? But when it comes to higher levels of play, you just rarely see Tracer, because she's always in the flank, distracting or destroying your backline. And again, you just don't have the chance to peel for them. You don't really have the chance to help them. What are you gonna do? You're gonna turn around and land an impossible hook while she's blinking and recalling around. I think she's equal. You just don't see her way too much. Widowmaker is, I would want to say that it's an absolute counter to Roadhog as a part of a poke meta composition with Sigma, with Hanzo. It's just like, it's difficult to play against Widowmaker, because she can 2-tap you not to death, but you will be severely wounded. Like it's not difficult to land 2 headshots in a row on a Roadhog, especially if he's out of position. It's not difficult to kill squishes that are behind Roadhog because he's not providing any defensive mechanism. He's not like, when you talk about defensive mechanism, I mean shields, or I mean applying pressure. For example, Doomfist doesn't have a shield, but he's protecting his team from Widowmaker by constantly jumping onto her, if that makes sense. So Widowmaker is gonna be an absolute counter on sniper maps, on longer maps, especially paired up with a good poke team. Roadhog will never be able to press W. Winston is, I don't know, he's equal. You just never see these characters. You wanna press W, and try to land your hooks onto squishes. Winston is always gonna jump your backline. And you don't have the access to, you don't have the choice to destroy the bubble easily. You don't have the choice to, it's just difficult. I feel like it's equal, but more towards hard to play against, you know. When it comes to Zarya, I think Zarya is incredibly difficult to play against. This is gonna be my biased opinion, but it's hard, man. It's hard. She always has bubbles, and if you try to poke her, she's gonna get energy. If you try to hook a player that's on the enemy team, she can always bubble and get again free energy. You will not be able to use your combination, and if you are not killing an opponent kills you. That's shrimple as that. That's exactly how the game works. When it comes to Zenyatta, I think he is difficult to play against, but with his recent Discord changes, with 7 seconds cooldown, the character is just complete ass. Like one of the worst characters in the game by far. No pressure. Discord Orb is just a shell of the previous glory that it had, and Zenyatta went from a staple when it comes to tank busting to a guy that's just trying to stay alive for some time before he dies from cringe. Ana is going to be an absolute counter to Roadhog. Again, the only way to cleanse the nade is going to be to play Kiriko, but Kiriko Roadhog is a wasted value, wasted potential, because you'd want to play Baptiste or you want to play Ana with Roadhog for maximized results. Because, like, I think Kiriko is great with Lucio, Kiriko, Junker Queen composition, but when you talk about Roadhog, you just don't offer that much momentum, you just don't offer that much of initiation. Because imagine you are playing with Ana and she throws a nade on the enemy backline and you hook someone and you reliably one-shot them. When was the last time your Kiriko hit a headshot on the enemy backline character and you one-tapped him because of that? Exactly, never. Sombra is absolute food for Roadhog. Yeah, you can hack him, so what? Yeah, you can virus him, so what? Sombra has to be one of the worst DPS characters in this patch. No real pressure to the tanks, and because of that, enemy tanks can take all the space in the world, and you cannot kill the backline because backline can kill you easily, because supports are basically DPS with godlike abilities, and DPS will also be able to catch you lacking. Just terrible. Orisa is an absolute counter to Roadhog on flat maps. When it comes to maps with verticality, you can work around Orisa versus Roadhog matchup. When it comes to control of the point maps, Orisa is just gonna completely devour you alive, especially if a guy knows how to cycle his abilities properly and understands how to accurately track his bullets around your head. Because I understand that if he's playing Orisa versus your Roadhog, it's not 100 guarantee% chance to lose. But are you gonna win? Are you gonna win? Is it gonna be fun playing against Orisa and winning against Orisa? And not exactly. I think Doomfist is, I wouldn't say he is an absolute food for Roadhog, but it's certainly very easy to play. It's certainly very easy to play against Doomfist. Every single time you're playing a character that's bad against Doomfist, for example, Sigma is pretty bad versus Doomfist, or perhaps you are playing, what else is there? Maybe you are playing Reinhardt, and Reinhardt is not also particularly good against Doomfist. You can swap Roadhog and you will have a blast of a game, especially if they don't have Ana. When it comes to Moira, I think Moira is an absolute food. She just doesn't possess any threat to you, to be honest. No, you can safely heal. She cannot interrupt your healing. It's really easy to kill her if she has already wasted her fade, and yeah, disaster. Brig is really easy to play against, and not a problem. Brig is really nice only against dive tanks, only against dive characters. You can just destroy her shield and then hook her, and that's gonna be a GG. Wrecking Ball is also not a problem for Roadhog. You can always hook him closer to your team, and if you have Ana plus Brig as your backline, they will never die from him, and there is no need to peel then support backline that never dies. Ashe can be a problem to play. I feel like she's equal. It's all gonna come down to distance management. Like if you stand far away from Roadhog and poke, again, she can be a threat, but outside of that, I don't think she's that difficult to play against. Baptiste is not a problem to play against because, again, Baptiste is such a difficult character that you will probably never see him in your ranked games, only if you are not high Grandmaster player. And why would you watch this video if you are high Grandmaster player? You already know all of that. So it's really difficult to have value on Baptiste if you are just a typical guy who's playing Overwatch for fun. So yeah, not a problem for Roadhog. Sigma is an absolute counter to Roadhog on maps with no verticality, flat maps. Has to be one of the best tank in the game right now, has to be one of the hardest tanks to kill, and you just never possess a threat against him. How can you like try to hook people if there is a shield in front of you? How can you use your ultimate and if he has shift to completely eat it? Like, it's just very difficult to play into Sigma, especially on sniper maps like Havana, Junkertown, and Circuit Rail. Echo is difficult character to play against. Nothing you can do, just like with Pharah. You just never pressure this character, and even if you have the chance to kill her with a hook, well, I mean, she can always use copy if she's accurate enough and farms the ultimate fast, and then you can poke from the distance, you can play an assassin role and assassinate people from the backline. It's like, it's difficult. Sojourn is an absolute counter to Roadhog. I think your nightmare would be Mei plus Sojourn on flat maps. Mei, Sojourn, Ana, Arisa, and then they have something like Zenyatta maybe to top it off, or Illari. Yeah, Arisa, Mei, Sojourn, Ana, and Illari, and you can uninstall game after that. I think Junker Queen is really difficult to play against. I don't think she's an absolute counter because she never possesses a threat against you. She never can really kill you reliably, and she cannot toss you around like Arisa, Diva, or Sigma with ease. But it's difficult to land hooks onto her, it's really difficult to poke her because of a slim model, and she can always press W, especially if she's playing in Lucio Kiriko composition with speed. Kiriko has to be not an absolute counter because you'd never possess a threat to the Roadhog, but again, she can distract the backline, she can cleanse the player that's being hooked if she is smart enough and fast enough to do so. And outside of that, you have to understand that you deal damage with your pellets, with your small bullets. How can you deal damage to such a small model? I have no idea. Ramatra is not a problem for Roadhog. I would say that he's an absolute food, but it's not particularly true. Like, it's really easy to make Ramatra uncomfortable on Roadhog, and yeah, I feel like Ramatra never possesses a threat. He's never applying threat to the backline. He can always be hooked outside of his block form, and yeah, ultimate is completely shattering him alive. I feel like Lifeweaver, when it comes to a 1 versus 1, is not a problem for Roadhog, but when we look at Lifeweaver against Roadhog in a 5 versus 5 environment, it's really difficult to play against. It's really difficult to play against because life grip is really nice, and if you don't have your whole hog, which is your ultimate for the tree is never gonna fall. If you have your whole hog for a tree, you just completely cut the tree, and Lifeweaver is you kinda trade your ultimates here and there, and Illari is going to be equal for today's tier list. So this is going to be the tier list on how and who to counter the new rework Roadhog in the mid-season 7 of Overwatch 2. As you can see, nothing changed, character is still garbage, but we are waiting for more buffs and perhaps changes to the whole Overwatch rosters, especially supports. You nerf supports, you indirectly buff Roadhog. Thank you very much for watching, see you.